going to give a trigger warnings because it's very
Trigger
violent and disturbing.
warning.
It's so disturbing that I'm having a hard time eating and sleeping.
I want to play. This is somebody calling into Sam Cedar's show, The Minority Report, and they are having a hissy fit about your comedy show in Oregon. So let's roll the tape.
I'm calling from the unceded territory of the Spokane tribe. I'm going to read something that I wrote previously since my brain is just so done.
Okay.
I am a biracial indigenous activist, organizer, water protector, and mother. I've been doing grassroots community work since I visited Standing Rock in 2016. I am also now a now former employee at the Spokane Comedy Club in Spokane, Washington. I've seen your guys' coverage of our right-wing sheriff, Ozzie Knezovich, and I really appreciate you guys covering that. I do some accountability work in that regard as well. So I thought you guys were the perfect organization to reach out to let you know about another bout of blatant fascism in our city. This experience was beyond any other I've seen in real life. I have worked at this club for 3 years, so I've seen hundreds of styles of comedy shows. I've heard the nastiest speech available. I've laughed at a lot of it.
Listen, JP, it gets good.
I've never before heard such vile and deeply disturbing content as the utter garbage that JP Sears was saying at all 9 of his sold-out shows this weekend.
9 sold-out shows.
He spoke to approximately 2,700 people just in Spokane in this one weekend. He travels around the nation, putting on the same shows every weekend. He's reaching a large platform, and in my opinion, is an under the radar as a far-right leader. I have access to recordings of this, and the things that he's saying are openly fascist.
Listen
he discusses, and I'm just going to give a trigger warnings because it's very violent and disturbing. It's so disturbing that I'm having a hard time eating and sleeping. So he openly talks about killing trans people. He openly talks about hating people for having black skin. He talks about an upcoming civil war and wanting to shoot people. He talked about nuking Seattle and Portland. He talked about election fraud. There's more, but again, my brain is so tired from being processed through all of this garbage and the atrocious behavior of his audience.
He's got a big YouTube channel. He's got almost 2.1 million subscribers. And he's getting hundreds of thousands of views on things like, is the left normalizing pedophiles?
Wow. So, JB, I got to get your reaction. What did you think about that? That woman, she worked at a comedy club. She can't eat or sleep because of your comedy.
Well, obviously, I'm affected. I'm going to quit. This is an unsafe space for her. No, I mean, first off, I'd say one, thank you to her for being there, serving the audience, their drinks and food, and taking care of the 2,700 people that actually, for some reason, wanted to hear what I had to say. But man, you know, first off, I'm amused.
Do you remember that show? Real quick, JB, do you remember the show she's talking about, that club in Spokane? Do you remember it at all? Okay, sorry.
And, you know, I'm amused and also not surprised by the smears. You know, we hear this over and over again, someone on the left. Here's something that makes their, I'd say, lack of principles and lack of rooting in truth, rather they're rooted in the narrative, makes them feel insecure about that. So out comes the smears, hating people with black skin, wants to kill trans people. Like, how you get that from my show that's a creative work of art itself.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm amused, and I love freedom. So I love that she has the ability to think and interpret the way she wants. She needs a safe space. I hope
she's a real safe space. She had a trigger warning. And listen, they always call you, they call me fascist. They call us all these stuff because they're not based in reality. These people are not really connected to reality. When you talked about where she's from, she's like a Native American, and she does all this activism. So she's not even a real person. She just doesn't like you because of where you are ideologically. She probably, I'm guessing you probably made everybody laugh, and that probably pissed her off way more. Do you think that was what really triggered her? Is that you sold out and did so well?
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine she probably would have felt much better if the club was half full and half the audience didn't like the show. But Spokane's always treated me so well. And yes, Spokane is in Washington State, but the people of Spokane, it tends to be a much more of a conservative town within Washington. So she was probably deeply disturbed by seeing these freedom lovers like being the majority. Her side's not in the majority. So I'd imagine, of course, that would be uncomfortable for her. But also, it was great in that clip. the virtue signaling leading in. Like, okay, she's definitely not a white lady. She's different minority.
Biracial.
The virtue signaling of, Standing Rock. It's like, cool. Like, you just told us you're a good person. That's very humble of you, and gave us a trigger warning. So it's amusing. I hadn't heard that clip before, so I appreciate hearing that. That's just fun.
No, I love that clip. I listened to it, and like I said, I don't want to keep sitting here and kissing your butt. I think you're pretty populist. I mean, you're obviously conservative. I've never heard you say anything anti-black, homophobic, or even transphobic. I just think that you don't want men to be able to compete against women in sports. I think that's pretty basic, general premise that we should all at least agree on, that biological men have an advantage against biological females.
Yeah, man. But I'd like it. I think where we need to go is ban women from women's sports. That's
Yeah.
really what I stand for. Just seeing the guys in there in dresses, we see better performances objectively. They're stronger. They run faster. They swim better. They can actually slam dunk a basketball. So, but yeah, I love all people, but I love objective truth, and that's part of what I stand for. And if someone's a biological male, XY chromosomes, pretending they're a female, I love I love that they can pretend to be a female, but I'm not going to buy into it. I think upholding truth is important. I'm not really a fan of Marxism.
Yeah, either am I. But one of the most famous trans people in the world, my hero, is a person named Michael Obama. And I'll be honest, so
I'm so fly, I'm aligned with the planes. My grind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself